Describing yourself in less than 30 seconds. Just think it over and keep it in your mind, and we'll come to that later. Make one or two statements which will describe you as a person in less than 30 seconds. If I ask you, describe yourself to me, what will you say in less than 30 seconds? Just think it over, and then we will get into this. Alright. Though I was not born to a Christian family, I was always impressed by the image of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ always carries a kind of aura of light around his head, which they call the halo. You've seen that, right? All of you. Now, how I don't know whether Jesus Christ really had that halo. I'm not sure about it. Nevertheless, I get to see a lot of people who actually carry a halo. Not only people, there are things which has a halo. If you ask me where do I find them, maybe in Hindu hypermarket. Okay, let's go into this with certain things which have a halo, and we call them the premium items. Now you see, these are two items, iPhone and Samsung. And iPhone is always priced almost approximately 15% above Samsung, just because of its brand value, right? That's a halo effect. Louis Vuitton and YSL, these are two brands of bags which ladies use, and Louis Vuitton is often priced almost the same category of bags, priced at 35% higher. These are approximate values. Colgate and Pepsodent, 100% difference in international price. Colgate is double as much as Pepsodent in price, but they are. I do not see any, definite benefit of Colgate over Pepsodent. These are two different brands of pen which have a difference in price of almost 900%. Imagine 900%. A Montblanc pen might cost you 10 times as much as a Parker pen. But you write the same way, right? Now, these are two different brands of watches, Rolex and Seiko. And Rolex comes at 3,000% more than Seiko. These are realities. And why they are priced high? Because they carry an invisible halo, which is called the brand value. Let me tell you some few people here. You know this, who is this? And you know all these people?
Yes.
Who are these? Elon Musk and Ronaldo. Yes. And this is? And that one? Richard Branson. I mean, he's the best out of all the five. Now, all these people have a particular aura because they all are having a brand, not their product or the company, but they have all projected themselves as a brand to the people. So here what I'm trying to talk to you is that, do you have a brand of yours? Have you ever attempted that you should be a brand so that the people recognize you, they respect you, and they see the halo around you? Have you ever tried to do that? Well, this is extremely important in today's world, and we are just talking about that. Why do they stand out? Because they have a brand value. The five people which I said, it's not only those five, there are a lot of other people who have a brand value. And it is because of their reputation, the story that they have, and also the value proposition. And this value proposition is what I told you to think of. How do you project yourself in front of the society? Do you have a way to tell yourself convincingly, okay, this is what I am in less than 30 seconds? If children, when they are going for an interview later in your career, and the first question that you can face is, describe yourself. Are you able to describe yourself? I found that most of the candidates, they really struggle with that question. Perhaps the most difficult. You think you know maximum about yourself, right? And that is the most difficult thing to explain. And when we ask, they say, no, I was born in there, I was studying in there. Is it what you are? Or is it what I am a company, I am interviewing you? Is it what you are going to give me? That I am born in Trichure, what is Radhika? So he is going to give you Radhika, and how it is going to benefit you? Right? So what are you to me? What is your value addition to me? Are you able to tell me that? And if you are able to make that in 30 seconds, they call it an elevator pitch. Remember, if you want to brand yourself, first thing that you should have is make an impressive pitch about yourself, which is an elevator pitch, a 30-second pitch about yourself, describing people what you are. I did not disclose to you what the topic is. It's all about personal branding, which is a modern day outlook, where everyone has to brand yourself, and it is extremely important. And all these manners, etiquettes and all is very key elements in branding yourself. If you have poor manners, poor etiquette, then you are not going to brand yourself, or rather you may be branded negatively. Okay, how do you build your brand? So let's see the brand. The definition of the branding is the practice of marketing yourself and your career as a brand. And the people who are coming to you, they should be able to accept you. So there are three pillars of this branding, which is called authenticity, clarity, and consistency. So you should have authenticity. Whatever you say, if I say I am an engineer and that is what I am going to describe to you, then I should have awareness, knowledge, and I should be able to speak like an engineer. Or if you are saying I am a project manager, then I should be able to speak about project management. I should be knowing at least the fundamentals very clearly. So the clarity and authenticity in your ability to describe your particular topic, and that is extremely important. If I just go and brand myself as a rocket scientist, absolutely it's going to be a fiasco, right? I cannot do that because I am not that. Clarity, and this is very important. As I told you, if you want to describe yourself in 30 seconds, you should be able to do it with absolute clarity. There is no dilly-dally. And this is what mostly we do wrong. So have your elevator pitch ready all the time. And consistency. Consistency is that you have a particular way of behavior and maintain it. Okay, as Reggie said, when I go to that restaurant, I eat with my left hand on the fork on the left hand. But if I go home, I will do it in different way. No, you should make part of your culture, your core behavior. And that is what consistency is all about. You should define what values you are going to stick to and always stick to that. And one of the things which I hear people, of course, a lot of people disagree with me on that. Nevertheless, a lot of people say, okay, when I am in a private company, I can use unparliamentary language. My point of view is never. Because I never use unparliamentary language, even if I am in a private conversation with my closest friends. And I don't really try to correct them because it is none of my business. Because this is my brand. You stand out in terms of, so you can differentiate yourself in terms of others, and that's what differentiation is. I showed you some pictures of the great people, and they all stand out because they are differentiated from the general public, right? And when you are able to differentiate yourself, that is when you get opportunities. Like recently, my daughter, incidentally, went for an interview in a company, and there were 150 candidates, and she was selected. So why she was selected is because she could differentiate herself, and she could actually gain an opportunity because she was able to differentiate herself from at least from that 150 candidates. You understand what I'm saying? So that way you are able to differentiate yourself, then the opportunities will come to you. Then trust and credibility. So when you are consistent, I told you that is one of the pillars of branding. And if you are really consistent, then you draw trust and credibility of others. And whenever we come here, Raji and Dilip and they ask me, Sunil, you go and speak. Why do they tell me that? Because they have a trust that I will come and speak something. Only because that is not trust and credibility. And control of narrative. So if you don't tell your story, then the people will tell your story. And they will tell you all the dark sides of your story. Do you want it? So you control your narrative. People should not be able to make a story of yours, but you have to write the story of yours and you have to tell that. That is what control narrative is. So when you have achieved all these four, then you can say you have branded yourself effectively. Time and effort in branding yourself. So what do you gain out of it? First is you get better job offers. This is for the youngsters who are going for jobs. You can get a better job offers because employees trust strong personal brands. So always try to create yourself as a brand. You get a networking. You get a lot of friends or like-minded people with whom you will be, exchanging ideas, and there you will get to learn more. And when in need, this network comes to your help. You can influence others. Now, when I'm talking about influence, you need to understand. I'm talking about influencing without authority. Suppose if you are a person who is in authority, like you are a minister of the state, or suppose you are the CEO of a company, you are in a position of authority. It is easy for you to influence others. But if you are just an engineer or a common employee in a company, still you can influence others. That is what influencing without authority. And that is an art which you need to really learn. So if you create a brand of yourself, then you are influencing others. Imagine a person who is working in a company who is a very good singer, say for example. And every time there is a get together, they will go back to him and say, hey Rajan, this time you should sing. Why? He is able to do that because he has branded himself as a singer. So he is not in a position of power. Nevertheless, he is influencing the small society that he is living in. So try to find out what you can do to the society and do it to the society, and then you will be generating your own brand. This will give you a feel of security because when you are working somewhere, it's quite likely that the world is going to change. Last time I talked about AI and how things are going to change over a period of time. So when in times of layoff, who will help you? Your network. So you develop network and the network can help you sometimes, and therefore you can still be feeling secure in times of uncertainty. So these are all the basic benefits or the returns of investment that you have when you invest and spend your time on, which I wanted to tell you. Like what you need to have, few things. This is just a step-by-step explanation of what all things that you need to have in order to brand you. The first thing is, especially the youngsters. Somebody tell?
Yes.
Please. So if you really want to make a personal brand of yourself, the first thing that you need to do is to look into yourself, introspect and find out what are you good at. Last time when I was here, a student came to me and asked me, what stream should I choose when I go forward in my studies? Actually, you should ask this question yourself. You should identify what your true interests are, what your passion is, and pursue your passion. And that is how you will be able to create a brand of yourself. So that is what self-discovery is all about. Identify yourself. And this is also relevant to the first question that I asked you. Can you describe yourself in 30 seconds? If you have the self-discovery, then you will be able to do that. So always try and pursue to find out what you are and what your true interests are, what skills you have, what skills you have, what talents you have, etc. Then you have to have these three items if you really want to have a branded person. Now all these brands, they all have this, a vision, mission and core values. Anyone knows what is the difference between a mission and a vision? A lot of people actually mess up between the two. A mission is a statement, one or two statements which can be a little lengthy statement but not very long, where you are saying what you want to achieve or what your organization want to achieve. Every organization has a mission. So I am part of an organization called, everybody knows, Toastmasters. So in that, the mission of Toastmasters is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Forget about the contents of it. I'm just telling you, it has got a mission, a statement which we all cite and recite every time. And then we know what we are doing. Every time you recite it, you know what I'm supposed to do. Part of the thing you see. Well, what you see now, you are, imagine that you are going on a particular endeavor. You are going to build a building. I'm in the building industry. So what I do is, before I start with the work, I just close my eyes and imagine what I am going to build, how it will look like. I have that vision, and that is what ultimately I want to achieve. What the color of the building should be, what the facade should be, how the interior should be. All those visuals I get to see. So you have to see that in your mind. You have a visual. The clearer your visions are, the easier the tasks will be. And if your vision is blurred somewhere, you are likely to get up somewhere a little distracted. And that is what in management they call as risk. So if the better vision you have, the risks are less, and more vision. And if you have lesser vision, then your risks are high, right? So you understood vision. Vision is stating what you want to achieve or what you can give to the society, anything. This is what, now imagine, you know what, say for example, I've shown you the picture of Elon Musk, or even Richard Branson. What was his mission? His mission was to go to the space, make a, what is it called, a transport system where the common people can travel to the space. And that was his mission. So something, he has to state what his mission is. I'm just telling you what it is. And all these people had core values. Core values are the value systems that you should stick to. What are those values? One of them, it was all described by Reggie in his statement on etiquette and manners. So are you going to be a person of good etiquette? So what are the core values that you should have? So I was working in an organization where the core values were share, care and dare. I loved it. Okay. Because what we need to do is, in that organization it says, anyone, if you have a particular knowledge, if you have some awareness about a particular subject, share it with others. That is what share is. Care is help every individual who is working with you. Try to cooperate with them. And to have a tagline for yourself. How many of you have ever thought that you can have a tagline for yourself? Or how many of you have a tagline for yourself? You know what? You heard of these taglines which are rather very punchy, right? I'm loving it. So who is it? Who is it? I'm loving it. McDonald's. Yeah? So that way, there are a lot of taglines which I can actually cite. Most of the companies which are successful, they have a punchy tagline, and you are always attracted by the tagline. Where the world comes to shop. It's a tagline. You know where it is, right? Yeah. Where is it? Yes. So that way, you have a tagline for yourself. I keep a tagline for myself, and I keep telling everyone, whenever I have to be introduced in public, I tell them, okay, use this tagline. Because I'm basically a proponent of humor. So my tagline is, be blind to the darker side of things and see the lighter side of them. It has got two meanings, right? You always see the lighter side of everything and forget about the darker side. Be positive, see the positive side and forget about the negative side. So this is a tagline which I use for myself. Why can't you have a tagline for yourself? Try and think what your passions are, what your ambitions are, what your future plans are. Accordingly, try to create a tagline for yourself and live true to the tagline. When you have a tagline and you carry it, it will force you to live true to that tagline. So that's why you should have a tagline. And tagline is slightly different from what your elevator pitch is. Elevator pitch rather could be your mission statement. So have a mission statement for yourself as a person. And don't try to copy anyone. You may get inspired, but don't try to copy anyone. Like you might have seen someone like Elon Musk trying to do a lot of technological advancement. So if you really want to be a technological giant, don't try to do what he is doing, but try to learn from him, be inspired from him, but have your own way of doing it. So copying is certainly not branding. You have to craft your story. When somebody is asking you to tell your story, what is your story? Are you able to tell that? This is a little more explanation, little expansion of the elevator pitch. I told you elevator pitch is 30 seconds description of what you are or what your objective is. Your story is you tell a little more in a descriptive manner what you want to achieve. And all those people, all those 5 people whom I have shown you, they all have their stories. And you can increase your visual identity by going on the social media. It's okay. Although I am not a social media buff, nowadays people are doing it. But then, there again, you have to be very, you should be very clear about what you want to give to your audience. So that you should target your audience. Who should be your audience? Your likely employers, the society in which you live, or any other group. Say for example, today I am standing here and speaking to impress this particular institute maybe. Yeah, so that is my audience. Anything of that kind. So am I speaking to impress the audience, or rather to benefit them? It is not just impressing, but to benefit them. When I am speaking to all of you, I think whether it is going to benefit the group of people who are here. So that way, anytime you are having your elevator pitch or your story, make sure that it is made, custom made for the people, the audience to whom you are going to sell yourself. You know what, selling yourself is not selling yourself virtually. Now what I am trying to do here is to sell myself to you. Right? I have ideas which I am trying to share with you. That is what selling. So make sure that you are doing this according to the audience. And then how do you do this delivery of the brand? You should always try to add value and not to project yourself. And what we normally do is, I come here, I would have told you empty number of stories about how successful I was in doing X, Y, Z things. And it happens with everyone, right? I am not talking about that. I am only trying to share with you what information I have and what can be beneficial to all of you. So I am only trying to add value. It is not a self-promotion. And that's not the whole purpose of the program. So never, when you are trying to tell people, don't tell your achievements from the past, etc. You tell them what I can do. When you are in an interview, when they ask you, tell yourself, tell them what you can do for them. And your CV will talk about the rest. Right? Okay. And so use a tagline, use an elevator pitch, and most importantly, I tell people, we should have that flexibility. And especially it is not there with people of my age. We should always be learning, unlearning, and relearning. Whatever I talk to you today, there may be mistakes in it. There can be shortcomings in it. There can be things which are out of context, and people will give me a feedback. I should ask people for a feedback, frankly, and get the feedback and correct myself and improve. So that is what learning and learning and relearning. And most importantly, I'll just show you this particular slide, which says